Robert Pointer says, hey, Tim, James Lindsay just put on an article where he discusses the Tim Pool gap. Put this to bed. Which is the chicken and which is the egg of wokeness, culture or academia? It's hard to understand what you mean by culture or academia. I will say academia is not the progenitor of wokeness, in my opinion. I do believe it is a contributing factor, but let me explain. Critical race theory has been around for a long time. Critical race theory ideas have been around for a long time. And there's a reason that I, on this show, draw a distinction between critical race theory and wokeness, because wokeness encompasses a whole bunch of other things, notably that Democrats think the economy is good. There is this weird cult. Now, critical race theory became a component. Critical race applied principles became a component because certain people who followed these things saw what they could exploit and latch onto. So I'll put it this way. Wokeness is the giant beast flying around. Blah, it's the dragon. And academia and these academics are basically small little parasites that jumped on its back and are now slowly crawling to its brain to try and control the beast and guide it in a certain direction. So the argument was because I was talking with James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose, and Peter Boghossian. They were the people who pulled off the Sokol Squared hoax, where they hoaxed these academic journals.
I love that thing. That's so funny.
Peter Boghossian was adamant it started in academia.
Yes.
I was adamant that it started because of algorithms. And before Facebook and these woke blogs and rage bait, and before the social media manipulation, these ideas existed but were not prominent in the mainstream. It was only after algorithms started to perform, before articles that mixed different injustices together started to perform well, that critical race theory, intersectionality, and these ideas started to become prominent. Not because academia created them, but because social media manipulation allowed for them to latch on and rise to the top. But wokeness incorporates more than just those ideas. There's look at the non-binary stuff, the NB stuff you see on Tumblr. That is not born from academia. It's born from 12-year-olds who are fed garbage in an algorithm. Look at the videos of the Finger Family Hitler videos where Hitler's doing Tai Chi with a female body with the Incredible Hulk. That is not born out of academia. It's born out of algorithms fed to children. Children get these insane ideas from academia, but from a whole bunch of other places. So, to put it mildly, I think academia played a very outsized role, probably the largest role in the development of a lot of wokeness. But wokeness itself, I believe, is a product of algorithms telling you, if you want clicks, combine as many rage bait words as possible. Like Vice's article where they said trans women of color being attacked, being subjects of police brutality, it's inseparable for the cause of Black Lives Matter. You put all those things in one link and then Google shows it to you if you search for each and any one of those words, which means if you have a community that cares about police, a community that cares about Black Lives Matter, a community that cares about trans issues, they will all search for one word and get a different word, but get the same article. So all of these companies were incentivized to jam all of these words, creating a prominent critical race theory and intersectionality, of which many academics now found themselves reaping the rewards of. But critical race theory has been around for decades, and it wasn't prominent in the mainstream until algorithms and social media made it possible. And then people like Jack Dorsey hooked his mouth up to the sewer line and started guzzling down his own refuse from his platform. And he went from the guy who said free speech wing of the free speech party. I don't think it was him. I think it was one of the other Twitter guys. But you get the point. The company said free speech wing of the free speech party. And then they plugged the sewer line into their own mouths, gargled down the garbage produced by their trash network. And now they all believe insane things. But to Jack Dorsey's credit, he tweeted out Rothbard's Anatomy of the State to the shock of many libertarians. Let's read more super chats.
I would disagree a little bit because I would move the chains back just a little bit further, and I would say wokeness is a natural extension and a natural outgrowth of materialism, and materialism arose because of the attacks on traditional morality in the West. That once you remove that,
yes,
and you only make the material world the only thing that matters, that all of these things then arise. It's the cult of materialism.
Well, to be fair, we could continue to reduce everything down.
Not that I disagree with anything that you said tactically.
We could reduce it further and say, how did materialism come to overtake the United States? A loss of faith and community. Television,
modern manifestations.
Right. So I'm just saying that you can look at the LexisNexis data. Before Facebook and the rage bait blogs, instances of the words like, critical theory.
But why
race,
don't we
racism.
reject it? Why don't we reject it out of hand?
This is this is where you get to the point.
This is my saying.
See,
if you had a traditional moral base in this country,
right,
or in the West, or a classic moral base, you would reject that stuff out of hand, and it would remain relegated to those spheres, or people would look at it and say, "Oh, that's silly."
And if the academies believed in what they claimed to believe, they would have been a bastion against wokeness. Instead, they became an incubator for it.
Correct.
So 10 years ago, this stuff was laughed off. And when the culture war started ramping up, I believe the Gamergate may have been the first major instance of the culture war. Many people said, "Oh, you're online too much. This is meaningless." What they didn't understand is that children were put in a rage bait incubator where they got either the anti-SJW side or they got the SJW side. Those kids who were 10 years old in 2011 are now 20 in 2021, and they're voting. And their whole world was shaped by wokeness on an ever-growing platform.
100%.
The only thing they'd ever see on these platforms was the rage bait garbage, and now they're getting jobs in media. And the ones who are a little bit older are getting jobs at the New York Times. And now we are seeing
all the
elevation.
pronouns in the emails. You have to put
That's
the pronouns in your email block now.
And now companies are mandating it, not because these kids went to college. A lot of people go to college and complain about this stuff. But kids who grew up on Tumblr are otherkin. They believe they're actually mystical dragons trapped in the body of an owl that was transported to a human body in an alternate dimension.
Oh, maybe they are, Tim. Maybe they